Hello and welcome. In this tutorial I will demonstrate how to integrate XML job tickets into your workflow using StingRay version 3. This will comprise of setting up a job ticket, setting up workflow forwarding, and finally assigning both of these to an existing customer set up in the address book. We will begin by logging into the internal web interface as an administrator. The first thing we'll do is create a job ticket. You can access your job tickets by going to Job Tickets under Workflow Management. As you can see, I've already created a job ticket. The job ticket name and job ticket description are both for internal reference only and won't be seen by the outside world. If I select the workflow job ticket, you'll see far more options in just a second. Once inside the job ticket details, we can already see a lot more information. If I click Edit, we then get full access to the job ticket and the ability to add more or take some away if we're not happy with it. As you can see at the top, there's where you put in the name and the description. As I said already, it's completely internal. Nobody will ever see this from the outside, so you can use it for your own reference. Below we have the ability to insert a new field. There are many fields to select from, and here's a quick overview of them. Text field is just standard text. One line, imagine maybe an email address, telephone number, or a name. Underneath that is text area. Imagine this to be sort of more paragraph text in that you can insert an address or anything else that may require a little bit more text than a text field. Static text gives you the ability to either write a message that can't be removed from the job ticket, or could be static hidden text that can only be referenced by the workflow from the XML. Below that is date and checkbox. They're fairly self-explanatory. Under select, you have the ability to create drop-down menus. Perhaps you have multiple departments, multiple managers. With this, you can select many of those. Underneath that is predefined. This is sort of small features built into the StingRay to allow you to select date of uploading, anything like that. I'll select the select option and add it. When you create a new field, this is what you see. Initially you get the name, which is what your users will see when they log in. Next to that we have XML key. XML key is what the workflow will be reading when the XML file is shipped over to the workflow solution with the files that are uploaded. Over from that we have optional. If you select that, the user will be able to upload files without answering this question. Unchecking it makes it mandatory. Hidden is another feature that comes in quite handy. It's very useful if, for example, you have a lot of information that you don't want to be available to the end user, but you want to be interpreted by the workflow solution. Under default value, you have the ability to, in this case, create some items that go in the drop-down menu. If I just write a couple of names, I can give you an example of how it works. Okay, and as you see, they appear in the drop down below. If perhaps you would like to move one up in the list, you can click this arrow and you'll notice Joseph is now up in the list. If you make a mistake, you can always select one and delete. As you can see now, that is no longer in the list. I'll cancel this as I already have the fields required in the ticket design below. While you're in the ticket design and not currently editing a field, you have the ability to move the tickets and even delete if you so wish to. At the very end of this, you have the ability to assign addresses to this ticket. I'm going to leave this blank for the time being because we'll come back to this later via the address book entry, but should you want to, you can assign an address book contact right here in this field. Now it's saved, the workflow ticket is complete. Following on from job tickets, we'll now look at creating a mailbox. Navigate to mailboxes and forwarding under workflow management. As you can see, once again I've already created a mailbox and we'll just take a little look at it now. Just as with job tickets, and as you know by now, the mailbox name and description are for your reference only, not available to the outside world. First thing we need to do, always, is to check forwarding activated. Without this, the forward will not work. Next, we can select the protocol. Depending on what your workflow uses, you can select AFP, FTP or FTP MAC binary. Under server, you can input the IP of your workflow's server. Under path, the path to the directory you want the files to go into. Username and password are obviously explanatory. Underneath now, you can select from the following options. You can create a new subfolder when jobs are forwarded. You can use FTP passive mode. You can skip transferring a folder structure, or you can select the forward during received jobs. That's basically it. Underneath, of course, once again, you can assign an address book entry to link to this mailbox. However, for the time being, I'm going to leave that out and I'm just going to save it. Now we're finished with setting up forwarding to the workflow, we will complete the last step in this video by configuring an address book entry that has been created. First, we'll navigate to the address book under Access Management and select the address book entry we want configured to use both the ticket and forwarding. The important thing to remember when setting up an address book entry to be used with job tickets is that incoming settings needs to be enabled. If it's not enabled, the user will not have access to the external web interface and therefore will not be able to upload any files. In addition, we'll just make sure FTP is definitely under the assigned receivers on the right. Now earlier on I was saying both in job tickets and the mailbox that I wasn't going to bother putting the user over to the right at that point. The reason for that is I wanted to show you how easy it is to do it from the address book entry itself. In every address book entry you'll now see mailbox and job ticket. Simply select the mailbox in question and the job ticket in question. They're now assigned and we can simply save and we're done.